Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Did you get in okay?
Yes, sir.
So you're down in Savannah?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm from Savannah originally.
Oh, you talked about it. You were going to do it down there.
Yes, sir.
Just didn't realize you had a soccer camp to go to, I guess.
I play soccer for the university, so they make us come back rather early, and 240 hours in 6 weeks is a lot. I might be able to get it done, but I just don't want to get 230 hours and then just have those 10 hours not done.
Are you trying to graduate this semester?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to graduate this summer. Yes, sir.
Well, we'll figure it out, as we say.
Okay.
Don't panic.
Okay.
Now, you're earning hours. I mean, you'll be earning hours down in Savannah, won't you?
Yes, sir. I started my internship here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't count towards the internship hours until the semester starts.
Okay. So I don't start my hours until what day does the semester start?
June 1.
June. Okay. Got it. Do you think I'd be able to find a site in Memphis that would allow me
Well,
to
we'll certainly give it every effort. Between Dr. King and I, we'll find something.
Okay, thank you. I'll start looking. It's such a short period of time. I'm not sure how to go about reaching out to different sites.
Well, that's exactly how you reach out. You say, I'm at the University of Memphis completing my internship, but I had to split it.
Hmm.
I'm returning to campus such and such a date. I would like to complete an internship at your site.
Okay, I'll start reaching out to different places.
I would suggest the VA as one place.
Okay.
I don't know if Sarah, you're on mute. That's all right. We'll put all of you are going to get on mute when we start. So, well, maybe a short meeting today. There's only 3 people on there. We'll see. We'll give them a couple of minutes. Still a couple of people who said they're gonna be a few minutes late, so we'll hang on for them. Who is CC? Get off mute.
There's me, Coralian Hardaway.
Now, I didn't understand the words you just said.
Can you understand me now? Is
Yeah.
it better?
Yeah.
Coralian Hardaway.
Okay. Be good to have your name on here too.
I'm sorry. It's I had just re-downloaded Zoom because I have a new phone and it just put that.
Okay. I see it now. Good, thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and start since y'all were on time. But others can catch up, I suppose, and I am recording it, so they can come back and check on it. I'm Dr. Travis. If we haven't met or if you haven't had me for classes yet, and I will be your academic supervisor for the summer. I'll be the only one in our program supervising interns this summer. So between me and Dr. Keene, we're the two people, if you need to contact somebody, we're the ones you contact, okay? All right, I'm going to screen share here. This is just a summary of what we expect of you during an internship. Most of it's just common sense, but from past experience, some people didn't exercise common sense. So we just kind of spelled it out for you. And we'll just run through these and then we'll deal with questions after that, if you have any. All right, every form you have to fill out is in the internship manual on the website under students, if you haven't found that yet. But so all the reporting you're going to have to do has to be on those forms. And this will be an online course. So each week or 2 weeks, you will see what's required by that time. And basically a few do's and don'ts. You're going to have to find out just by going, I guess, what's the proper dress code for where you're interning. And that will be you just mirror whatever everybody else is wearing. They're not going to be requiring uniforms or anything. So, but that's very important. And come on time. If you're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, that's when you got to be there. And stay for the period of time that you've already said, I will be there from 8 to whatever, 3, 4, 12. So you can't just say, well, I'm just going to take off now. It's just like a job. You're going to have to spend your time there. So you will have a site supervisor when you go there. And that's your main contact at the site. I'll be your main contact at the university. And if you happen to be sick or have some other legitimate reason you can't be at your site at the agreed upon times, you've got to inform your site supervisor, be it by telephone, email, whatever. But you can't just not show up because you're sick today or you've got a doctor's appointment or whatever it is. You have to let them know because they may be scheduling something for you to be doing that particular day. The first thing you're going to work on with your site supervisor, well, first of all, most sites have an orientation for you when you get there. And that counts as part of your time as well. So that counts as internship hours. If you're at, say, Methodist, I know they have a pretty vigorous orientation program. So count that as part of your hours. So the first real thing you're going to be working on with your site supervisor is the internship learning contract. There's a form in the manual for that. And basically what that is just working out what you're going to be doing while you're at that site. So you can't just sit there and say, I don't know, nobody told me. That's why it's called a negotiation. You're gonna have to see what you can work out with your site supervisor to be sort of your pattern. Although it should be fairly flexible because I want you to experience the different components of the site as it relates to healthcare administration, be it administration or finance or HR or marketing or data management or informatics. I'd like you to at least see what they're doing in these various areas. But if you want to concentrate in a specific area, you can request that of your site supervisor. You want to spend more time in HR, if that's what you want to spend more time in. But what that is you will come up with that contract, and that's what you're going to base your posting your hours from. Every 2 weeks, there's a drop box for your hours worked those 2 weeks. You go into the drop box and list what you did that week or 2 weeks. It's a 2 week schedule. What did you do? Get somebody else in here now. So what did you do during this time? And you put down the number of hours, and you do need to let your site supervisor briefly review what you're posting for the hours you worked that 2 weeks, and they're simply to initial that to say, yes, I see what you're saying. Cameron, welcome aboard. We're just going over some particulars here for expectations in the internship. But that's the first thing you do. So then that's when once you got a learning, and when you do a learning contract with the site supervisor, he or she signs the learning contract, and you sign the learning contract, send it in to me. That's where the drop boxes are going to go, to me. And what this is over time is really a validation of what you did and how many hours you earned every 2 weeks. And as maybe Dr. Keene has explained to you, if you're taking 6 hours, you're going to have to come up with 240 work hours. Summer, which is shorter than the other 2 semesters, is 10 weeks. So you're going to have to get about 24 hours a week to hit that. And sometimes you can earn more than that in a particular week. but that's one of the key things you have to do. Complete your 240 hours. So you're going to have to come up with a schedule for yourself that you figure out how many hours you got to work and how many days a week to come up with 24 hours a week. So just a minute, Corley, and I'm gonna take questions in a second. So we're just gonna go through this real quickly. Then you can ask questions. While you're at your internship site, your supervisor there may ask you to take on a task or a special project. I know a number of them have what they consider special projects that they assign. And if they do, that's fine. That counts as part of your work hours. And it would be, they would have to explain what it is they want you to do. And then you would have to make sure that you're doing it in the way they expect it to be done. And what's your time frame? When do you have to turn in a paper or meet with them or whatever? So one of the things there is try to be assertive, as I would say, not aggressive, but assertive in showing a certain amount of interest in learning as much as you can in a positive way with your site supervisor. Problems. Occasionally, some kind of problem will come up at the site for you. And it may be with usually it's not, maybe it will be your site supervisor. It may be another student who's interning there. It's just, if there's some friction or some relationship issues that pop up. If that's the case, then you need to contact me sooner than later. Don't wait until halfway through the semester and say, this ain't working out. Don't tell me that. You're going to have to get a hold of me, and email to me is the best way to get a hold of me. We'll schedule a time together. But if problems do occur, sort it out as early as possible. And I'll get in the middle of it if I need to, with you and whoever you're having the difficulty with. Or if possible, I can just give you recommendations how to sort things out. So I've also had to explain to the site supervisors over time, what do you want to accomplish in the internship? And as I'm summarized here in number 9, ideally, you would like to see all aspects of administration and leadership by either shadowing key employees or attending team and management meetings. And normally they schedule you and let you attend those. Those count for hours, unless there's something sensitive going on, which is a personnel issue with somebody. You won't be attending those meetings. But at those kind of meetings, listen predominantly. Unless they ask you a question, don't volunteer things because this is their meetings. You're sort of coming in there and piggybacking on them. But what I want you to be able to do is see some of the interpersonal dynamics that occur when, people sometimes just don't get along with each other, but they still have to get the job done. So they have to work out how they're going to do that, or their supervisor there at the site will work it out with them. So that's what I want you to see. how do they problem solve? How do they deal with new things they got to come up with? So that's a key to me. That's a real important aspect of the internship, because wherever you go, when you graduate, even if you're going to graduate school, at some point you're going to have to be able to interact in a group setting with your peers and deal with problems in a constructive way. As I said before briefly, assume an assertive posture with your site supervisor and volunteer to do new assignments. As I've underlined here, don't sit at a desk somewhere or in an office and wait to be told what to do. Try to initiate. I'm through with that assignment. Can I do something else? Is there something else? Or you may say, I have an interest in informatics. I'd like to spend some time over there if it can be arranged. Just an example. All right, the next underline, do not stay off your cell phone and quit texting. There are times when you do that, but you can't be doing it in a work setting. So when you have breaks or a meal or something, help knock yourself out. But don't be doing that during the course of your hours you're earning on the internship. Just like you wouldn't be able to do in a job for very long. If you kept that up, you wouldn't have that job. Maintain proper office behavior. Simply means good judgment. Take it easy. Don't, get along, fit in. You have to figure out how to fit into a particular group. But that's what you need to do without being argumentative or whatever. Because if you do that, I'll be getting a contact from your site supervisor, which I've had happen before. And then we have to chat with each other to sort that out, which is just as soon not do that. It's good to keep a portfolio, which is merely a summary of what you're doing, particularly when you're interviewing for a job. You've got a record of what you were doing at the site. Before you get there to whatever site you're going to, review, just get on the website, find the information about the site, find out what their mission and vision are prior to meeting with your site supervisor, so you'll know what they're about. And you can't just say, I don't know what's going on. There are a couple of places that have special circumstances. If you happen to be interning at Methodist Healthcare System, one of their facilities, or at the VA Medical Center, they have certain orientations you have to do, certain screenings, drug screenings, all kinds of good things like that, that you have to complete to be able to intern there, which is it's getting to be pretty common with everybody these days, to be able to do that. All right, I'm going to get off of this, and then we'll, if you have questions, like you had a question, didn't you? Coraline, is it Coraline?
Yes, Coralian.
Coraline.
So you said so 240 hours a week, 24 hours per week to try to meet that. And so you said we come up with the schedule. So we don't, so they doesn't provide us, they just ask us what days we like to work and how long we would have like to work.
Yeah, that's a good way to deal with it. But just tell them you need to get about 24 hours a week in, because
Mm-hmm.
summer semester is only 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard to get 24 hours in a
Yeah.
week. So, but then you work out your schedule.
Right.
Other questions?
This will be Monday through Friday, correct? Or will it be through like Monday through
Well,
Sunday?
It depends. If you, sometimes interns have jobs outside the internship.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then you're going to have to intern at a site where probably they're open 24 hours a day, which would mean usually a hospital. Um, and you may have to work the evening shift or the weekend shift if you're working full time somewhere. You still got to get this done to complete your internship. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Um, Anybody else have some questions?
Yes, sir. I have one regarding the portfolio.
Yeah,
Um, should we treat it such as like a reflection of sorts on what we're doing daily or weekly?
yeah, I think so. I think so. Now, have you had an interaction with, what is her name? Our person who helps people do their resumes and everything?
I don't believe so.
I'll get her name for you. But
Okay.
she can be a better help to you about what to put down. But
Okay.
as a routine, well, first of all, there's some forms you've got to fill out when you first get there. It's like you're going to work somewhere. There's a form that talks about where you're doing the internship, who is the site supervisor, how do I contact them, what's an email address, ideally, or phone, or both. To get started, that's kind of what you got to do. So there's several forms like that at the beginning of the internship. Turn those in drop boxes in the course. So once you got all that done, including the learning contract, and you're earning hours doing all this stuff, then you start every 2 weeks logging your hours on the form that's in the internship manual. It just simply says, do this, so many hours, and add them up. So we can see how many hours you earned that 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Also, every 2 weeks, there is a discussion box you need to fill out, which is basically you just telling everybody, and this is shared with the other interns and me. And it's you just relating what's going on at your site, good and bad. If you need some help, get stuck on something, then that's what you share with everybody in the discussion boxes. So every 2 weeks, work log in a Dropbox, discussions in a discussion box. About halfway through, and for this one, it's like 5 weeks, it comes pretty quick. You will have to get a midterm evaluation from your site supervisor. There's a form for that. And you just have to let them know it's about time. You can't just tell them to go do it because they're working in their schedule as well. But do advise them that you have to have this midterm evaluation. And there are little phrases in there that they just fill out their opinion on. But there's sort of a guided structure to it. They're not just creating stuff out of thin air. But you turn that in after, well, the first thing you do with a midterm evaluation is go over the evaluation with your site supervisor. And basically what you're doing at that time is you're trying to get a feel for how am I doing here? Am I doing okay? Am I doing great? Or have I got some things I need to work on? And that's what gets reflected in the evaluation. Your supervisor signs that, you sign it, turn it in to me in the Dropbox for that function. So every 2 weeks, boom, boom, boom. Work log, discussion. Then halfway through, midterm evaluation. Once you get that done, then you continue on with your work logs and your discussion posts. And then at the end of the semester, you will have a final evaluation from your site supervisor, which is basically it's the same form, but it's like if you needed to work on something, did you get it done to their satisfaction? And they complete a final site evaluation and go over it with you. You both sign it, send it to me. All right, and near the end of the 10 weeks, we have to do a brief paper, which we call it's like a synopsis of what all went on, synthesizing paper, I think we call it. What went on, what was your experience at this site, good and bad? And you just write it up in a narrative form. That's why you can go back and look at your discussings over this 10-week period. They might give you an indication of things you had forgotten about. But that's what you want. It's like a summary statement of what happened at this particular site for you. Was it meaningful? Did it not mean? Was it just miss out? You didn't see what was going on. Sometimes that happens, but that's still part of an internship. It's not fixed in stone, very flexible. Okay, and then once you do that, you have to show, like in week 10, show a summary of hours earned, total hours earned, and turn in your evaluation and turn in the synthesizing paper. And that's what you're required to do. And once you do that, barring some real problem, then you will earn your 6 hours for your internship. So hopefully, and if you got problems, that's why I say, if something comes up that's a problem, don't wait. Contact me when it happens, so that I can work with you to resolve it if something happens. That doesn't happen too much, but sometimes little things occur, and we want to get those out of the way so that you can finish up your experience at the site. And first of all, well, the internship is a requirement of the program. All the programs in the college require an internship. So it's not something you could just do if you feel like it. You got to do it if you're going to graduate in this program. So people get confused about that for some reason, but we try to say up front, hey, it's got to get done. But other than that, that's pretty much, I'm giving you a real summary discussion about the internship. Review the internship manual. It just walks you right through, step by step, form by form, what you turn in, what time, and you shouldn't have a problem. But if something comes up and you don't understand something, contact me. Email is the best way to reach me. And then we'll deal with it. That's my responsibility to you, is to help you get through this process. But this ideally is the culmination of you've taken all these courses now. This is the application of those courses in a real world setting. So it's not hypothetical. You're right in the middle of some sort of healthcare organization or facility. And you need this to actually, when we get requests for a letter of recommendation, which we do, we need to be able to reflect you did an internship at so-and-so and did great. Or to be tactful, you just did an internship with so-and-so. Not say great, just say you did one. But it adds in a validity to your experience in the program. That you not only just sat in the classroom or for us online, but you actually had a physical experience in a healthcare site that you can rely on. And if you're trying to apply for a job, that's what they're wanting, it's what they're looking for. So, or even if you want to go to graduate school, they also want to know what you've been doing. And I'm happy to do those for you when it's time. It's not a problem. You do have to maintain your grades. Technically, C or better is passing, but we don't really want you to get C's unless it's been a problem. You should be getting A's and B's. And if you're doing everything you're supposed to do, you'll get an A or a B. So, other questions? I know I'm just saying, give me whatever question you want, just ask today. No, if you have questions that you think about later, oh, I forgot to ask you, send me an email and I will get a hold of you and we'll address whatever that question was. Okay? All right.
All right.
I will end the discussion. Good luck. And June 1 is when it starts. That's when it starts counting. So go then and I wish you well. A good positive experience. Okay, I'm gonna.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, I'm gonna end this now. I did record all this. It'll take about a day or two to get recorded and then I'll post it to where if you need to refer to something or somebody didn't get to come, they can look at the video. All right, thank y'all for coming today. I will be seeing you again.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.